CTV, students at Fort Collins and its surrounding high schools walk out protesting gun violence.
Former EPA Administrator Gina McCarthy talks to students about the present state of the environment.
And ASCSU engages in an emotional talk about the bias-motivated incidents on campus.
All that and more from the people you know, starting now on CTV.
Hello and welcome to CTV News. I'm Sunday Miller.
And I'm Lauren Wilson, and here's what's happening in the news near you. Hundreds of students in Fort Collins walked out of their classrooms on Tuesday to advocate for gun reform and to honor the 17 victims from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. While plans for the walkout originated at Poudre High School, students from the Poudre School District, Loveland, and Windsor schools also participated.
To open up discussion, to get real solution. Whether it's Democratic or Republican, doesn't matter. We want kids to stop being sitting targets in their schools.
I think we need to restrict rules, obviously it's okay to have some sort of protection, but big AR rifles aren't necessary for civilians to have.
A silent demonstration took place when volunteers held signs to honor each of the victims killed in the Florida high school shooting, as well as held hands and made hearts to show their support.
Opportunity for him to see the democratic process and to be part of this that I hope will lead to change.
A group of counter-protesters took the Old Town Square stage shortly after the event ended. They chanted in support of the National Rifle Association and gun ownership.
Proven that guns save more than they hurt, so I don't know, I think that they need to look at our side and be able to compromise instead of trying to get rid of the Second Amendment completely.
Of activism, CSU admissions announced through Twitter that disciplinary action as a result of lawful peaceful student activism will not impact a student's admission decision. CSU's Public Affairs and Communication Director explained in an email to CTV stating, as young people make their voices heard in their communities on issues that are important to them, we wanted to make sure they know that CSU will continue to support students who choose to have an active voice in their community. CTV Channel 11, Amelia Castaneda.
Many Fort Collins students and community members plan on participating in the National School Walkout on March 14th at 10 a.m. in front of Senator Cory Gardner's office.
Last night, former Environmental Protection Agency Administrator Gina McCarthy spoke at CSU to a crowd of hundreds in the Laurie Student Center. McCarthy discussed sustainability, world health, and climate change. This event was hosted by the Office of International Programs, in which McCarthy joins the Distinguished Speaker Series at CSU, a series that began in 2014 and has featured prominent women in society.
I think the point I was trying to make is both Republicans and Democrats share the same values, and we always have. We love the land, but we love our children too. And really, environmental work in the end is all about protecting our public health.
As the head of the EPA under the Obama administration, Gina McCarthy led historic progress to achieve public health and environmental protection goals, as well as help develop the Climate Action Plan.
Think about making sure that you are an active citizen. Vote if you're eligible to vote. Speak up. Make your views known. This is how we've always succeeded.
Too many times we're saying, are you Republican, are you Democrat? What do you believe? And she made it, what do we believe together? What common ground can we find with each other? How can we surround ourselves with difference while still understanding our view and respecting the views of others?
She's just so motivational. I think that's part of what I think is really we need as a young group of people too, is this person recognizing that I think we have the power to move forward and to make change.
McCarthy's speech focused on the environment as a public health issue, not a political issue, while emphasizing the power power young people have to make a change in this country.
And we have to, take initiative to make this current law better, for future constituents, because this is all we have.
Leadership can come from people as young as you, as long as you're committed. And so I don't want you to be quiet. I want you to express your opinions, study hard so that your opinions are well informed, but for the most part, just speak from your heart.
For more information on CSU events, you can visit calendar.colostate.edu.
At ASCSU last night, the topic of bias-motivated incidents was brought up, sparking a long, emotional discussion about how best to deal with the problem at CSU.
At ASCSU's Senate meeting last night, the main event was a discussion amongst the whole group as to how to respond to the plethora of bias-motivated incidents that have occurred on campus this academic year. The topic was brought up by Senator Tamara Breidenbach 2 days after the most recent incident when posters from the white supremacist group Identity Europa were found in Clark C.
I can no longer stand by and get emails from Tony Frank and the safety emails from campus and not say anything.
ASCSU President Michael Wells concurred with Breidenbach, saying that as students, they have the opportunity to influence change.
Hatred doesn't belong on this campus. It doesn't belong anywhere in this world. And I think we have the opportunity to say no and to fight back.
The real talk among the Senate lasted for more than half an hour, with various senators jumping in to thank Breidenbach for bringing the topic up.
That you kind of came here and allowed yourself to be vulnerable with our body is really admirable.
Or to voice their concerns with how to respond.
One thing I have found, and I would recommend to anyone here, is call this stuff out at the source.
Senator Jennifer Murray had the most emotional of responses to the incidents, and called out her fellow senators for speaking out, claiming that they were also part of the problem.
If we can't address ourselves, why do we think we have the right to speak out on campus? And it disgusts me even more that some of the loudest voices in this room today are a part of the problem.
And while some said that generalizing entire populations based off a few could be damaging to the discussion, they all seem to agree that
at the end of the day, those little things add up and they become the kindling, right, that allow the fire of bias-motivated instances to ignite.
This is Stuart Smith, CTV 11.
Don't be surprised if someone drafts up a bill on this issue by the end of the semester.
The Spring Canyon Water and Sanitation District near Horsetooth Reservoir is warning citizens about elevated lead levels in the water system. The lead has reportedly come from soldering on pipes in residents' homes and had an effect on 3 out of 20 samples tested. District Operator Sean Dibble has reported that there is no iron in the source water, and the district has hired an engineer to design a program to decrease these lead levels.
A new bill in Colorado is making it easier for gender change on birth certificates.
Currently, as the bill stands, you have to have gotten a gender reassignment surgery, a sex reassignment surgery, and ask for a court order. And so those are things that create barriers. Not everybody wants to get a sex reassignment surgery. Not everybody has the capacity to do a court order to then go and change their birth certificate. So this new bill would definitely remove those barriers. The current bill also gives you an amended bill, so it will still reflect what your sex assigned at birth was. And then it'll say that it's been amended, which that then outs people that may not necessarily want to be outed, which creates a safety issue for folks. This new bill would remove that and give you a whole new birth certificate.
You can contact the Pride Resource Center at prideresourcecenter.colostate.edu.
Fort Collins City Council has shown a surge of support this week for improvements on the Fort Collins Whitewater Park project. The project is already set to cost $9.5 million, and the new improvement could add $2 million to that. The new proposals are for added awnings, a child-friendly river, and increased security. The source of the funding is still up in the air as City Council waits for approval.
The search for Fort Collins Police Chief has been narrowed down to the final 5, and the Fort Collins public got a chance to meet with these candidates. We now have reporter Isabella Roberts live at the event. Thank you, Isabella.
Hi, I'm here at the Lincoln Center where the top 5 police candidates have just talked to the community about where they're from, what they've done, and what they plan to do with Fort Collins' newest police chief. Jones is the current police and has been since May of 2017. The candidates are Edward Morgan from Maryland, Michael Bray from California, Ashley Gonzalez from Connecticut, Jeffrey Swabata from Illinois, and Trey Wilfong from South Carolina. They hope to have their decision made by May of this year. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Isabella.
So Lauren, what qualities do you think the Fort Collins community is looking for in our future police chief?
I think it's really important that the community has someone who's dependable, committed to justice, but also capable of keeping up with the current uncertainty of these political times that we're in.
Definitely. I look forward to their selection. Well, that's all we have for news.
Stay tuned for weather, sports, and entertainment right after this.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
Welcome back, Rams. I'm your weather anchor, Keenan Kozart. It was a warm day to our Thursday, but will it stick around? Let's find out. Looking at our current temperatures, it's 28 degrees, partly cloudy, and your wind is at 6 miles an hour out of the north. Looking at your overnight lows, we're going to see some high 20s, 32 at a toasty Grand Junction at a 32 degrees. Looking on the Front Range, we have high 20s with Pueblo at 24. Looking onto the plains, we see some low 20s with Lamar at 28. Looking at your tomorrow's highs, we see temperatures close to 50 degrees up in the mountains. Grand Junction, close to 60. Looking on the I-25 corridor, we see low 60s with Pueblo at 67. Looking onto the plains, we see some mid 60s with Lamar at 73 degrees in the middle of March. Looking at tomorrow's forecast, high of 60, sunny, beautiful, wind at 7 miles an hour, and your sunset is at 5:53 p.m. Looking at your 5-day forecast, it's going to warm up beautifully. Saturday, 61, go out and enjoy some outdoor activities. Sunday, we see some clouds move in, 50 degrees, still nice. Your first part of your week, about high 50s. Looking at your Friday planner, you wake up, 38 degrees, sunny, around noon, calm winds, about 4 miles an hour. That sun stays around till about 4 o'clock, 58 degrees, close to 60. If you have any evening plans, going to the Unity Fair, World Unity Fair, the weather sure won't get in your way. Coming up after break, Jared with softball.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Are listening to 90.5 KCSU Fort Collins with DJ Mean Beat,
DJ Nightshade,
DJ Wildcard. Music to me is
one of the best creative outlets that I can think of.
An escape from the real world.
Music to me is an expression of love.
Go from like folk to hip hop to like classic rock, 1960s bossa nova. With the music, there's like no boundaries.
I work here because I love music, and you do too.
Welcome back from the break into the Thursday Night Sports Show. I'm Jared Stratton, here to catch you up on CSU athletics. Yesterday, the CSU men's basketball team took on the New Mexican State Lobos for senior night. Che Bob was the only current senior on the roster, making that game much more sentimental for him. The game itself was mainly decided in the first half with a dominant start from the Lobos. They held the Rams to under 10 points for almost 6.5 minutes and had a ridiculous field goal percentage. They made 14 out of 15 shots from beneath the three-point arc and were shooting above 70% for the half. 3 of their players had over 10 points in the first half alone, and 7 out of their 9 total players had over 10 points by the end of the game. After that first half, Prentice Nixon and Raekwon Mitchell led a comeback effort, scoring combined 29 points. The Rams also tallied up 8 steals to help that comeback effort, but they couldn't overcome from their first half deficit, losing 108-87. Nico Carvacho is currently at 15 games in a row with at least 10 rebounds, with 9 out of his 11 rebounds coming on offense yesterday. The Rams will play in the Mountain West Championship as the 10th seed to play against the 7th seed, which will be determined on March 6th. The CSU softball team was able to beat out the UNC Bears this Tuesday, winning 9-4. Although that was their first game at home, they won't be back in Fort Collins until next Friday at the Colorado State Classic. For this weekend, they will be traveling in California, where they'll be playing in the San Diego Classic. The Rams are currently sitting at the record of 8-1, which is their best opening record since 2008, where they started off 10-1. They will continue and try to break their own record by starting off against Oregon State tomorrow at 10 a.m. In other news, the Rams had 3 players qualify for the NCAA Indoor Track and Field Championships. Grant Fisher and Cole Rockhold both qualified as runners, with Rockhold running the 3,000 meter and Fisher running the 5,000 meter. The third qualifier, Mustafa Hassan, won last year's honor as Indoor Shot and Put champion with, and will look to defend this honor as a 3rd seed next Friday at 6:20 p.m. Well, that's all the sports I have for today, but make sure to check collegian.com and CTV Channel 11 on YouTube for the latest in CSU athletics. I'm Jared Stratton, and up next is Ryan Christ with Fun Science Entertainment.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream, that I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly, just to come back in a new disguise and be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
What's up, Rams? I'm Ryan Christ, and welcome back to another fantastic Thursday where we talk about all things entertainment, starting off with what you can do before spring break. As we all know, spring break is quickly approaching, so before we leave, here are 3 amazing things to do before our much-needed break. This Saturday, March 3rd, is the World Unity Fair in the LSC. This is the 64th annual fair and will feature 25 cultural and nationality groups from both the CSU and the Fort Collins community, where you can immerse yourself in rich cultures, foods, and live traditional music and dancing. This event starts at 2 p.m. and goes till 9 p.m., starting off with their International Bazaar, where you can buy international gifts and collectives. Then at 3 p.m., they will have their World Talent Show performed by various groups. To end off the night, they will have their cultural booth where you can play games, eat food, and enjoy another culture. Sunday on March 4th, the UCA is performing Baroque and Beyond, a concerto piece that will feature students and faculty. A typical example of a Baroque concerto features soloists that have dialogue with the grosso or the larger band, which means that the band and the soloist will go back and forth, simulating dialogue with music. This concert starts at 7:30 and goes till 9:30 p.m. It's also free and open to the public. Lastly, on Thursday next week, March 8th, you can kick off your spring break with an evening performance by the newly formed Clarinet Pop Orchestra. This ensemble delivers some of your favorite pop genre songs that you never thought you would hear on a clarinet. This event is held in the UCA and is also free and open to the public. It'll also start at 7:30 p.m. and go till 9:30. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm not sure if a Drake song will sound good on clarinet, but I guess we'll see. Breaking news, this just in, Fort Collins sells a lot of beer, and if you haven't taken note on this fact, USA Today has, because Fort Collins was selected by a group of beer aficionados who consider us to be a top 10 beer city in America. Now that we've been nominated, it's up to us to vote on who's number 1. So far, Fort Collins is in 5th place behind Grand Rapids, Michigan, St. Louis, Cleveland, and Richmond, Virginia. There are still 18 days left to vote, and you can vote as many times as you want. Of course, you have to wait 11 hours to vote again, so don't be like me and keep refreshing the page and wondering why you're getting an error. To vote, go to www.10best.com/awards/travel/bestbeerscene. Exploring, experimenting, and an explosion of learning were all at the LSC this past weekend. At the LSC, the Little Shop of Physics was going on, where students could learn and explore the world, but for math teacher Bull White, it's more than just learning about science.
I hope someday that the experiments and stuff we do just sparks some kids' interest in science. That's all we ever hope as educators, and that's the whole message of everything we do, is spread the love of science.
Bull White is from the Pine Ridge Native American Reservation, and he loves teaching kids about science.
I plan on coming every year from here on out, so I just recently became a part of the team, but I absolutely love it, and I can't wait to come back and just keep doing this every single year.
This was the 27th annual Little Shop of Physics event, and this year's theme was Exploramos, where kids could try experiments that they could do at home.
Curiosity too, trying things and just seeing what happens. And so when they see our projects, they go, oh, I could do that at home. I had no idea. And that's kind of like our presentation, Exploramos, that they can do those things at home, that science is everywhere.
There was a lot of science for kids to check out.
Someone last year who was trying to leave, and the kid said, but I haven't seen everything. And the mother said, we've been here 6 hours.
The biggest attraction was, of course, making ice cream out of liquid nitrogen. At the end of the day, though, it was all about exploring science.
We're not showing you we're amazing, we're showing you the world is amazing, and you can explore it. This is something you can do.
Who knew science could be so much fun? If you missed this year's Little Shop of Physics, don't worry, it'll be back next year. Have you ever been to a 1-year-old's birthday party who's 9 feet tall? Yesterday, the Denver Zoo held a party for their 1-year-old giraffe, Dobby. Exactly 1 year and 1 day ago, Dobby the Giraffe was born at the Denver Zoo. Dobby was born smaller than most giraffes at 5 feet and 75 pounds. In 1 year, he has grown to 9 feet and is over 650 pounds. This party was open to the public, and they even made him a birthday cake. And everyone at the zoo sang happy birthday to him. The zookeepers also made him a sorting hat based on the Harry Potter, since that's where he gets his name. The little guy's birthday was significant because, due to his size, they weren't sure if he'd make it, but thankfully he did. According to the zookeepers, he's doing very well. And just like the book character he was named after, we're all rooting for Dobby. McDonald's, the only place where you can see the ice cream machine working and the cashier will still tell you, nah, it ain't working. Yeah, that place casually brought back a long-requested sauce in bulk and didn't even tell anyone. Yes, the famous Szechuan sauce is back. Last year, the popular TV show Rick and Morty made a comment about the 1998 McDonald's Szechuan sauce and how good it was. This prompted fans of the show to tweet at McDonald's asking for it back. And in late 2017, they did, but they didn't have enough sauce, which resulted in riots. But now it's back in bulk with over 20 million packets nationwide. Now, I didn't get any when it first came out, so last night I tried some, and well, after a year waiting, it was pretty bad. I mean, I didn't know what to expect from McDonald's, but come on, I know this is just soy sauce and sugar, let's be real. What I did expect, though, was for McDonald's to reference the show in some way, you know? I asked for the sauce, and they didn't say anything of it. I was hoping they'd maybe use like quotes from the show, like, would you like to get Swifty with your meal for an extra 10 cents? No, no one mentioned it. Not even their corporate podcast talking about why the sauce is back mentioned the show, which is the whole reason this Szechuan sauce is back. Anyways, if you're looking for disappointment, go to McDonald's and ask for the Szechuan sauce. Well, Rams, that's all the time I have for you tonight. Make sure to stay tuned for Monday Night Sports Show, and have a great night, Rams.